Hey everybody, welcome back to another Farm Fact Friday. Hope you've had a wonderful week. Here in Northwest Ohio, it's still a bit cold and wet, but we know spring, all the hustle and bustle that's associated with it is soon to come. So today I just wanted to spend some time talking about tips for meals in the field. So even if you're not farming, this may be helpful for any other opportunities where you're eating on the go. But especially as we get into the fields and get busier, you want things to continue going. It may be different from one family to another of how you handle your meals, but I know a lot of people are grab and go or making deliveries at the field so that the tractors and such continue to move. So I've got a lot of stuff in front of me, just a few tips that maybe you have all these in your back pocket already, maybe something you'll find useful. If you have something to contribute, of course, we would love to hear what you have to say as well. So let's get to it. One thing that's very helpful if you're packing your lunch at the beginning of the day or just want snacks until those meal times, simply taking the drink of choice that's non-carbonated, drinking some out of it, putting it in the freezer, and then when you take it out the next day to put in your cooler, it can not only serve as your drink once it melts, but it would also be like an ice pack. So you're saving the room in your cooler, but also supplying yourself with a drink. So that's pretty helpful. We know preparation is key, understanding where people are going to be at, to know how we can facilitate that meal. Maybe it's something that we just got to keep the tractor going. We've got to work ground to keep ahead of the planter. That's of course important. So if we stop, that ground's not getting work, that planter's gonna catch up to it, and then we're kind of on a bit of a delay. So having things ready in advance is nice. Where if you're the person putting the meals together, it always saves some time. So things like your fruits and vegetables, you get them from the store, clean them up, wash them up, have them ready to go so you can just pack them and go. Very helpful. Always great to have snacks with you, in case you get a little bit hungry before actual meal time. And if you have kids in the cab with you, trust me, snacks are important to keep them entertained. So, things like little candy bars, fruit snacks, maybe it's, Chex Mix or Trail Mix, whatever you like, that will keep you content until the actual meal time. Sandwiches are pretty common, at least on our farm, with what we provide during mealtime. If you're bored with just the cold meat sandwiches, if you cook burgers, if there's any time between, when you cook the burger and you take it to the field, if you don't want that bun to be soggy, but you want the burger to be hot after you get done cooking the meat, just put it in some aluminum foil, wrap it up tight, put your bun in a baggie, and then they can assemble it at the field so that it's hot but not a soggy bun. This next one came by accident. Ran out of hamburger buns, but had bratwurst buns on hand. So filled the bratwurst bun with shredded barbecue beef, and feedback was that it was easier to handle than a hamburger bun. So may want to consider a hot dog bun or a bratwurst bun instead of a hamburger bun, just to make it easier for that farmer to drive and eat at the same time. Just a thought. Always nice to have something on hand, like a bag full of all the things that you're probably going to get asked for, and then you're going to say, oh shoot, I forgot that at home. So if you just have a bag during this time of the year and just keep it stocked of the essentials, it usually is very helpful and very much appreciated. So that could be things like, your plasticware, maybe some cups and napkins. Children or not, baby wipes are always nice, especially for dirty hands, at least to get some of that grime off of them before they eat their meal. This could also be the bag, with condiments. Have to refrigerate some of them when you get back. but something you could quickly throw in there and then have it in that bag as you move from field to field, depending on how many tractors and people you have out doing the work. So very nice, very handy, and make sure that you have what people may ask for. Then the other part to think about is how you're packing the meals. So it's always nice to be eco-friendly. I get that. Don't like to waste too much, but the alternative is sending something like your nice plasticware and then getting it back with disgusting food that didn't get touched or they didn't eat it all. And then you're left with cleaning that or maybe just tossing it anyway. So maybe an okay time that we just send, baggies of grapes instead of a container of grapes. So if you have someone that's very good about bringing back their plasticware, great, do that. But if you're finding yourself throwing away the plasticware because of what's left inside of it, I think it's okay to go ahead and use your plastic baggies. And then finally, depending on whether you're able to, stop and have a meal at the field, or if it's just drop it and go so they can keep going. It is nice when you are able, especially if you do this as a family, to throw a blanket in your truck or your van or car and lay it out and allow that time to, it's not a meal around the table, but it's still a family meal, and those will serve as great memories for your children growing up if you are able to stop and have that meal together. So with that, I hope you have enjoyed a little bit about tips for meals in the field. Like I said, if you have any tips, I would love to hear them, because as someone that gets to help with this collaboratively with the family, always looking for ways to do things better. So with that, have a great rest of your Friday, a wonderful weekend. We'll check you back next week for another Farm Fact Friday. See ya.